Now broadcasting from his hidden bunker and fully stocked bar, it is the Saturday Report with Colt Sebastian Taylor.
Thank you and welcome to the Saturday Report with me, Colt Sebastian Taylor, adventurer, entrepreneur, and amateur shuffleboard referee. And welcome to AWSM Radio, an independent digital-only radio station that plays today's best music, old school classics, along with a rotating cast of all-star DJs. AWSM Radio focuses on mainstream artists, independent artists, along with a variety of interesting talk and music shows throughout the day. All we do here is entertain, inspire, and inform. And my friends, I want you to engage with me and be part of the conversation. So, find me on the Twitter, on the Instagram, and on the Rizzle at Colt S. Taylor. And of course, you should be, bookmarked already, all my adventures at ColtSebastianTaylor.com. And my friends, I'm announcing by the end of this weekend, all previous episodes of the Saturday Report with Colt Sebastian Taylor are going to be uploaded to YouTube for your listening enjoyment. It's not filming me, it's just all audio, but yet another place to catch this wonderful show. All right, my friends, let's get started with the Saturday Report. So, my friends, if you are a regular listener to this show, as my good friend Woogie is, as well as my other friends throughout the world, for the last few weeks, I have been having a somewhat one-sided conversation with my friends at Hyundai. Hyundai. For those who are listening for the first time, long story short, bought a used Hyundai Tucson, and then less than 2 years later, and less than 20,000 miles later, and with less than 80,000 miles total on said car, I had to replace the transmission. Not exactly anything anyone wants to do. The Hyundai folks say, sorry, nothing we can do here. That's how all Hyundai corporate people speak, I think. So I was stuck with the bill. So, complained about it 2 weeks ago. Complained about it last week. I called Hyundai last week saying, hey, Hyundai, just so you know, filing a Better Business Bureau complaint. Also going to be talking about this on my radio show. Would you like to send someone to talk on the radio or something? Explain to me why this is going on. And the very nice customer service lady there says she will pass it on to corporate, and the corporate will get back to me in 3 to 5 business days, although it might be longer because something with their system. Well, golly, guess who has 2 thumbs and has not heard from an international car company? This guy. So I decided, hey, you know what? I'm going to poke around a wee bit more. I'm going to see what's going on, whatnot. And Hyundai, in March 2021, Hyundai records its best sales of all time. Well, hey, Hyundai, congratulations. You can't see me right now, but I'm standing up. Everyone in the studio here at the Colt Sebastian Taylor Secret Bunker Bar Studio, everyone is standing applauding you. You can't hear them right now. They're behind soundproof walls and whatnot. But hey, congratulations, Hyundai. However, I can't help but to think that my constant talking of how terrible your used cars are may impact that at some point. At least from the dealer level. Okay, I mean that's where they make their money. The used cars and the parts. As I mentioned last week, used car markups are often 20, 30, 40, even 50%. Roughly between $4,000 to $6,000 extra dollars. I mean, it's funny how math works sometimes. But you know what? Enough about Hyundai and their amazing car sales, which I understand they're doing great in South Asia and Southeast Asia, a place where this show is regularly heard. But you know what? I decided, hey, you know what? I wonder if other folks have had transmission issues in a Hyundai Tucson. So I just Googled Hyundai Tucson transmission lawsuit, and boy, howdy there. Quite a few lawsuits. In fact, Hyundai apparently had to recall other Hyundai Tucsons from 2016 because of a transmission issue. A programming transmission issue of their 7-speed Echo Shift, all rights reserved, dual clutch transmission. Interesting. So I guess there was a software issue with said transmission, which I would assume that was eventually done with my said Tucson. I mean, I bought it used 2 years ago, well after that recall period was there. One would think it would be brought up to date. I mean, but I can't help but think, if that's an issue there, what other issues were there with the transmission? Was it a software issue? Because the head service guy at the car dealership said, well, Colt, Hyundai did seem like they swapped out this transmission for a different one in their new Hyundais moving forward because of past complaints. Golly, I wonder what those complaints were. Was it the transmission needed to be replaced? Was that the complaint? Was that the complaint that one had that was, that had to be done? So, I can't help but think, there's just a whole slew of websites here, stories from 2016, 2019 about Hyundai dual action transmission issues, Hyundai Tucson consumer alerts. Oh man, goodness. A lot of class action lawsuits here. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. If I were listening to my show, I can't help but to think, gosh, I might not buy a Hyundai. If this is the kind of quality craftsmanship they have with their Hyundai Tucsons, tick, 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 tapping the head here. What other issues do they have? It's weird. Here's another one. My 2017 Hyundai 7-speed dual clutch transmission failed. So it looks like I'm not the only person who has a transmission issue with their Hyundai Tucson. It's just that I was foolish enough to buy the car used and thought that a used Hyundai would be almost as good as a new Hyundai. Turns out a used Hyundai is not even remotely close as good as a new Hyundai. In fact, if you buy a used Hyundai Tucson, for me, there's a 100% chance that you have to spend an additional $4,000 less than 2 years later. So I think that's all I'm going to spend time on this week. So I would one would think that the folks at Hyundai would give me a call here soon. If not, I'll call them back next week and say, hey, Hyundai, all these lawsuits about your transmission, that's weird. Makes one think that your transmissions are, maybe defective. I'm no legal expert. I'm not a mechanic, and I don't even remotely pretend to be one, but I'm looking at a Google results here of a whole lot of people who are a whole lot upset from 2016 to 2020 about their Hyundai Tucson transmission. Can't help but to think that maybe my thing wasn't a fluke. Maybe, just maybe, this seems to be a bit of a pattern. Someone said to me, Colt, you should really talk to a lawyer. I said, that is ridiculous. I don't know. Seems to be a pattern. But you know what? Listen, Hyundai's they're very busy. They've had record sales. I'll give them a few more days to get in touch with me so they can explain to me why they fixed these other ones, apparently. I guess they settled these lawsuits, but they're not going to fix mine. It's weird. Very, very weird. Well, anyways, I can't linger too much. I gotta wrap up the show. I gotta go to the post office after the show and mail my claims and information and complaints and a detailed sort of what I'm dealing with to the Better Business Bureau, because I'm going forward with that, friends. That's right. I should really send them a link to the show. Maybe I can get some loyal listenerships for the Better Business Bureau. Hey, I'll take it where I can get them. All right, so I'll have an update next week about my Hyundai saga, and, we'll see how long this goes. I'm certainly getting my money's worth for this transmission. So, Hyundai friends, looking forward to hearing from you whenever that might be. Speaking of car companies who made poor decisions, Volkswagen had a bit of a rough week this week. As you know, this week was April 1st, was on Thursday? Yeah, Thursday. And April Fool's is a popular time of the year where companies just get to display their sense of humor with practical jokes, fake announcements, etc., etc. And, we all have a mighty fine laugh. Well, Volkswagen is one of those pranksters that may take things just a wee bit too far. So Volkswagen, who is producing cars, all-electric cars, they're getting into that market, quote-unquote, leaked information on Monday saying it was changing its name from Volkswagen, Volkswagen, to Voltswagen, Volts, like Volt, electric Volt. So they will be changing the name from Volkswagen to Volkswagen to embrace an all-electric car going forward, and so they're going to be known as Volkswagen. Well, obviously, a company of such reputation and of such been around for such a long while, changing its name completely and rebranding and embracing a new line of cars completely, that got some attention. That got some reporters calling. That got a lot of people mad. A lot of people, for a variety of different reasons, were not happy with this. You have folks who are loyal to the brand. You have folks who don't think climate change is a thing, and the Volkswagen folk are bowing down to crazy conspiracy theory pressure and whatnot. I mean, there's a lot of crazy folks out there, friends. A lot of people were upset, and reporters called and said, "Hey, Volkswagen, are you really going to be Volkswagen?" And they say, "Well, we're going to announce that later this week, but yes, it's true. We will be now known as Volkswagen." And then the reporter says, "All right, listen, it's April Fool's Day is Thursday. Is this a practical joke? Is this a prank?" And Volkswagen went, "Nope, completely true. Just leaked it early. This is a true thing." Like, they put it on their website for like a half an hour, then quickly took it off. But a few people caught it, and that's how the rumor got started. And the reporter's like, "All right, listen, seriously, guys, there's a lot of problem with credibility in the news. So, if this is a joke, you need to tell us that this is a joke." And Volkswagen went, "Nope. Nope. Completely true. We will now be known as Volkswagen because we're doing all electric cars." Well, as you may have guessed from my tone, it was a big old joke. A big old practical joke. And April 1st says, "Yep, surprise! No, we're just kidding. We're just doing this to highlight our new electric cars. We're not changing our name. We're still going to be Volkswagen." Well, news outlets were less than pleased about it. They don't really like being lied to. Obviously people lie to reporters all the time, but being lied to just to push sales, it's gonna be hard for Volkswagen to maybe get the sort of press they want in the future, because reporters will be less likely to sort of take them at their word. So, it also wasn't that terribly funny. So, reporters were like, listen, there's kind of a problem of people not believing the news because of nonsense like this. So not cool, friends, not cool. Volkswagen apologized, but they said, reporters said this was very, very, very reckless of them, and deliberately releasing false information hurts the public good and accurate journalism, and a lot of news reporters and outlets were very upset with Volkswagen because they were assured it was real. These news outlets don't like publishing, quote unquote, fake or inaccurate news. They try really hard not to, and then when the company deliberately misleads them, they were less than pleased. So for all you Volkswagen, yeah, your Volkswagen owners, do not worry. Volkswagen will still be Volkswagen, not Volkswagen. So, but I knew it. You know what the problem I think here was with Volkswagen? They just had a bad transmission of information. That's all. Another transmission issue with a car company seems to be going around. Moving on to Lady Gaga, I just want to give a brief update about Lady Gaga's dog Walker. As you may remember from a previous episode, he was shot several times while walking Lady Gaga's prized French bulldogs. He was very close to death, but survived. He is now released from the hospital. He is home. He did have to have a part of his lung removed because it kept collapsing, basically. And so they had to remove it to sort of stabilize him. But he was able to go home this week, walk under his own power. He still has a lot of recovery to go through there. But he's doing well, better. I mean, obviously, being released from the hospital. No word yet on suspects. No word yet if Lady Gaga has paid her reward. I think police are still investigating. And once the person who found the dogs are cleared, I'm sure Lady Gaga will be paying out her award. But moving on in Lady Gaga news, she's going to be Gaga for Dom Perignon. She is the new face of Dom Perignon's limited edition champagne bottles. That's right. She's going to be on the champagne bottles. It's going to be. I'm looking at the picture right now. It is very stylistic. Very Lady Gaga. It looks fantastic. Probably going to be very expensive, very expensive bottles and whatnot. So it's going to be a limited edition champagne bottle. I don't know how many they're going to be making. It doesn't really say here, but they're not known for the cheap champagne bottles. So she's going to be on those. She's also collaborating with Oreos. There's going to be some Lady Gaga Oreos, which instead of the black and white, is going to be sort of a pink and green. So that's coming out. She's doing champagne and Oreos. What could be better? And that's also limited edition. So she's getting out there. She made the announcement on her Instagram, whatnot. So you see a preview of that. And she's holding a Dom Perignon bottle, and it's a big bottle. Like, I've never had Dom Perignon that I am aware of, although I do like to drink, so something might have slipped in there at some point. But it's a very big bottle. Do they usually come in like club-like bottles that you could beat someone to death with? That's a big bottle. But anyways, coming soon for you, if you can get your hands on them, Lady Gaga Dom Perignon Champagne and Lady Gaga Oreo cookies. I feel like the Oreo cookies are going to be easier to get your hands on than the Dom Perignon. I mean, it depends what circles you run in. I know the circles that I run in, I'm more likely to get the Oreos than the Dom Perignon. I'm gonna make that bold claim right here, right now, that I am more likely to have the Oreos than the Dom Perignon. So that is your Lady Gaga update. She continues to spread her wings, and boy, she certainly does know how to market herself. Moving on in the world of entertainment, Lil Nas X, previously known for Old Town Road, featuring Billy Ray Cyrus. You remember that fun little jaunt of music and whatnot? Very popular and whatnot. Well, he recently released, I got two stories related to him here, and they're both interlocked with each other. But he recently released a new song and a new video called Montero, Call Me By Your Name. And boy, howdy, it got a little bit of attention and whatnot. Now, if you haven't seen the video, you should check it out. It's pretty well done and whatnot. But the plot is basically, during the song, Lil Nas X is in the Garden of Eden. He gets sort of tempted and seduced by a snake, being Satan. Goes up to heaven, whatnot, and then at the very last moment, a pole comes down, and he slides on the pole, and pole dances all the way down to hell and whatnot, and then gives Satan a very erotic lap dance. Holy moly. Talk about it being hot down there. And then at the very end, actually kills Satan and takes his thorns, and I guess becomes the new head of hell, I guess. But anyways, the whole pole dancing, giving Satan a lap dance, making out with men and whatnot, as you may imagine, it has a certain segment of the population in the United States and probably around the world a little upset and whatnot. Although I personally don't quite understand the upset, why you're so upset about. Like, obviously, yes. I mean, having male pole dancing is uncomfortable for some folks. Giving Satan a lap dance probably uncomfortable for some other folks. But Lil Nas kills the devil at the end of this defeats Satan at the end of this video. Like, would you? I mean, the devil you know versus the devil you don't. We all know Lil Nas X. He's friends with Billy Ray Cyrus. I think it would be a fine improvement. Anyways, so that has a lot of people upset. The usual folks, the ones that send you a fundraising email, your aunt, your uncle, who posting that this is a secret Illuminati way to convince children to, I don't know, to become Lil Nas X themselves and whatnot. Oh, by the way, he's also gay. So that's another strike for a certain portion of the population. So that caused a lot of problems. A lot of politicians decide to chime in with their expertise about how this is promoting Satanism and whatnot. Although, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this promotes Satanism was, a concern in the 90s with like grunge and, Marilyn Manson, and then in the 80s with death metal rock and whatnot, and then the jazz in the back of the 20s. It seems like music that you don't quite understand and is kind of new is always seemingly leads to Satanism. I don't know whether seems to be a pattern there. It's almost like those are the same folks that tell you to get off your lawn and squirt you with the hose. Like, old people. So he's done that, but also he decided to double down. I mean, marketing genius. He is releasing 666 Satan shoes. Satan shoes, yes. Like, well, what makes a Satan shoe? Colt? Well, I will tell you. It's a shoe, a Satan shoe. It's a modified Nike Air Max 97s. The red have pentagrams on them, other satanic symbols, and has a vial of blood worked into the soles of the shoe itself. Yes, blood, human blood in there. There's only 666 of them, of course. And you're probably like, whoa, boy, how much are those shoes? They sell those shoes for $1,018. Yeah, $1,018 already sold out. Now, the shipping and selling of these shoes has grinded to a halt now because a judge has blocked it because Nike, as you may imagine, has been associated with this, even though they had nothing to do with this whatsoever. And they're saying that this is hurting their image, and they have copyright, trademark infringements, etc., etc. Now, they made it pretty clear Nike did not make these shoes. They bought the shoes and did an aftermarket modification of these shoes, and they're just it's like if you took a Hyundai Tucson and then painted it red and put skulls all over the place and said this is my hell car that doesn't go anywhere because of the transmission issue. And then Hyundai's saying, listen, you can't do that. That's our car. Well, no, I own this car, so I can do whatever I want with it. So that's what they're basically saying in response to this lawsuit, that, this is an aftermarket change. They're not selling them as Nikes. They're selling them as works of art. So apparently there's already a Supreme Court case that deals with this. It's called the Rogers test. It derives from a copyright case of Rogers versus Grimaldi. And because they are individually numbered works of art and they're sold to the collectors, this is not really a trademark or copyright violation and whatnot. Also, this company selling these Satan shoes also sold Jesus shoes with the same sort of themes on there. And I don't believe the law office of the Holy Ghost, the Holy Father, and the Son popped down and had any complaints about that, but they had a problem with this one. So I I will be following this. We'll see what happens. There's a lot of conservative pundits out there who are upset. And boy, I tell you what, Lil Nas X, he is coming back hard with the clapbacks. Woo! Woo, boy. Really, really, I mean, I'm not going to read some of the things he said, but boy, he is giving no Fs about anyone who's complaining about him and whatnot. But hey, marketing brilliance. Really, really, really funny stuff. I think it's funny that people are getting upset about a shoe and a music video that has okay, but not great production value. It could be a smidgen better, but still a very provocative video. But some of the CGI feels like a little dated. But that's just my critical eye on there. Fantastic video, and because tell you what, if it's about getting attention and pushing a brand, you can't do much more than this. You certainly can't. Now, somebody I know for a fact does not need to pole dance to get attention or to market himself. It's my pal DC, although he could if he wanted to, but he has a show here on AWSM Radio, DC Live in Effect, where he mixes it up every Friday night at 9 p.m. and every Sunday at 10 p.m. You, my friends, do not want to miss it out. You don't want to miss out while he smashes it on the ones and twos. He's kicking the beats from his South Florida compound. Who knows where he is? He could be anywhere right now in South Florida. You don't want to miss it. He's a great, great DJ. He's our DJ here. He's my personal DJ when I have my slamming bunker parties. Post-pandemic. I'm not going to do it right now, but he's my guy to call. But if you can't find him in life in South Florida, you can hear him right here on AWSM Radio. That's right, my friends. DC Live in Effect. Fridays at 9 p.m., Sundays at 10 p.m., right here on AWSM Radio. We now move to Sweet Home, Alabama. Amazon. There is a historic union vote at an Amazon distribution center, fulfillment center, where they put the stuff in the boxes and they send it out. Amazon, one of the nation's most valuable companies, have a lot of warehouses where people work and they're pickers. They put things in boxes and they mail stuff out. But it's not unionized. It's one of the largest sort of warehouse jobs that don't have a union. And Amazon has been resisting calls for a union for many, many, many years now. And some have said that they are pressuring folks not to do it. And there have been some retaliation against folks trying to organize a union. But Alabama is now having this union vote. There's no results yet because, there's some folks who are complaining about some vote tampering and whatnot, much like the 2020 election. They're saying that, they don't need a union, that, it's going to hurt customers, going to hurt employees. We always give our employees, $15 an hour, and we create all these jobs. That's what Amazon's saying, but the union, folks pushing for a union, however, are saying that, their conditions need to be improved, that if there's a union, that they can help raise wages and also, healthcare and prevent unlawful or unneeded firing. So they kind of want everyone has their opinion and whatnot, but this could have a major impact on organized labor in the United States. Organized labor has taken some of a downswing. There's not as much organized labor as there was in the past. But Amazon is a very big company. Amazon has a lot of sales. So, if warehouses can organize and be unions, and if there is some sort of, nation or worldwide strike, boy howdy, that's going to bring things to a mighty fine stop, and the ATM, the unlimited ATM that resides within Jeff Bezos' bedroom may be shut off real quickly indeed. So we'll see what happens there. I will follow it. I'm very interested in this. I mean, if this vote is successful, I would imagine other warehouses are going to be wanting to organize real soon also. So it's pretty big. I don't know if it's nice or not nice. I mean, I'm not there, so it doesn't, directly affect me. It's just going to affect whether my packages arrive on time. But it'd be interesting to see what this will do for the labor movement. Might see an upswing in labor organization and whatnot. If the organized labor can successfully organize a union against a company as big as Amazon, that'll be quite the feather in their cap. So we'll see. I'll check back next week, and if I have any updates, I will bring it to you, my friends. And you don't need to subscribe to Colt Sebastian Taylor Prime. All listeners, regardless, get the same service from me, Colt Sebastian Taylor. Moving on to science, researchers have cooled antimatter to near absolute zero using a laser beam, okay? They captured it in a magnetic trap and then blasted it with concentrated laser light. So what does that mean? Well, let me break it down for you, a few folks. So antimatter is the opposite of regular matter. Matter is everything in this world: air, this desk, the computer I listen to, atoms. They make up matter. Antimatter is the opposite of matter. Okay, so in an atom you have positive protons and negative electrons. In antimatter, those electrons are positive and the protons have a negative charge. Okay, so they're the reverse of regular matter. Now, antimatter is hard to create and does not exist in this world for that long, because once antimatter comes into contact with regular matter, it annihilates each other, okay? A lot of science fiction writers will use a matter bomb for this big explosion, like a big explosion, whatnot. We're not at that level yet. But it's very hard to create and study antimatter because it just vanishes once you make it. You have to keep it in a magnetic sort of field so that regular matter does not come into contact with it. Well, we're pretty good at making antimatter atoms. Nothing too big. We can't make a coffee cup out of antimatter, but we can create the atoms and study them. And then scientists used a laser to bring it down to near absolute zero. Now, what's absolute zero? Well, things, to put it as simply as possible, the temperature of matter matters. Didn't mean to make that joke. So if something is very warm, it moves quickly. For example, gases, think of it like steam. Steam's very hot, okay? Once it cools down, it becomes water. The atoms move a little slower, and so they stick together and become water. And then when it gets even cooler, that water becomes ice. Those atoms stop moving and become solid structures. So something that's solid is cooler than something that's liquid, and liquid is cooler than gas. Okay, so if you can think of that those sort of levels. Well, absolute zero is a temperature, is a finite number. Like, there's nothing cooler than this temperature. Absolute zero is when the atoms stop moving altogether. Okay, they just stop moving. That is absolute zero. That's the coldest anything can be. And it is a number that scientists just can't quite get to. They just can't quite get there. There's always just a little bit of movement in atoms. So near absolute zero has been always something that they try to get to. But this antimatter, they've had trouble getting to absolute zero. So they used a laser to make it as cold as possible. Now, probably think of Colt. Was it a freeze ray? I mean, lasers are known to be, not cold. They're kind of hot. Well, basically, and this is what I find just most mind-boggling about this article, they used a laser to slow down the atom, the little parts of the atom, the protons and electrons that are spinning around in the antimatter. So, yes, the laser is warm, but they're like shooting it at this atom, and the light hitting the electrons and hitting the protons are slowing it down. The analogy that this article uses, like if you're curling a stone across ice and you're throwing hockey pucks at it, impacting the stone, slowing it down. Like the hockey pucks are moving. They're bouncing off, but each time they hit this curling stone, it's slowing it down. And that's sort of the premise they're using to make this. So why are they doing this? Well, that's what the grant money is paying them to do it. But basically, the more they know about how things act and how things behave at absolute zero, gives them a better understanding of physics and the environment around us, and will lead to other research and whatnot. So I don't know what they're going to do with this, but I found it really, really interesting that they used a laser to slow something down to near absolute zero. Hopefully they won't blow up the world. I think it's a very low chance of that happening. So, but you never know with lasers in any manner. But I think that's just a very nerdy part of science that I read the entire article like, wow, that's neat. And now, my friends, you know a little bit more about matter. And you know what? That definitely matters. But you know what matters most of all, my friends? It's your afternoon and evening commute. What will you listen to? How will you survive the traffic jams? Everyone's going out now. People are getting vaccinated, so traffic is coming back. Well, my friends, I will help you because I have a recommendation for your listening enjoyment from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday here on AWSM Radio. It's the Rock Sessions. It's our drive time show that's going to make sure that your evening commute home is fun, featuring the hottest, okay? Lasers can't cool down this music, my friends. We've tried. The hottest music on the charts and some surprises in between. And it's hosted by my good friend Rox. Okay, she is not an absolute zero. She's an absolute hero. Wow, I'm really doing a great job promoting today. And she will make it rock her own personal rock style, and it is fantastic. It's a great show. Listen to it here on AWSM Radio Monday through Friday from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Next up, friends, we go to Texas, where everything is bigger in Texas, even really bad ideas. So there is a bill in the Senate government, the Texas Senate, called Senate Bill 12 by Republican Senator Brian Hughes, that was approved at 2 a.m. on a Thursday, that would stop social media companies from banning Texans for their political views. So basically, some social media sites like Twitter, Facebook, etc., have been banning people. This Texas senator thinks that they're banning them for their conservative and religious views, and only because they have conservative or religious views. Well, a few things with that. A lot of these folks aren't being banned because they're conservatives or because they're religious. It's because they're breaking the terms of service of these companies. Like, these are private companies. They don't have to have you on there, okay? They can do whatever they want because they're a private company. Now, a lot of people say, oh, freedom of speech, First Amendment, etc., etc. Yes, the First Amendment is a thing. It's not a thing with private companies. If a private company does not want you using their service because you can't follow their rules, then you get booted. Simple as that. And you can't conflate this with anything else, but that's just the way the world works, okay? If you can't follow the rules of said company, and those rules are not illegal, and, the rules that they're violating are not illegal, then you get booted off. So this guy wants to put it out there, and you know what? Here's the thing. He is saying that social media companies are common carriers. So there is a rule that a common carrier, such as phone or cable companies, et cetera, they are regulated by the government against discriminating against their customers. So they can't do that sort of thing. Now, social media companies have never been considered to be common carriers. So good luck on that one, Texas. I just don't see that working for you in terms of in terms of the law actually working. Well, my friends, speaking of working, I'm done working for the day because we have just wrapped up another fantastic edition of the Saturday Report with me, Colt Sebastian Taylor. So thank you for joining me here today. Remember, you can find me on the Rizzle, on the Instagram, and on the Twitter at Colt S. Taylor. And, of course, engage with me on there. Engage with me on there. Let me know if I've missed a story, if you think there's something I should cover, or if you just want to yell at me. I like the attention. And if you haven't already, be sure you bookmark ColtSebastianTaylor.com for all your Colt Sebastian Taylor needs. And as a final reminder, these shows will be uploaded to YouTube by the end of the week. Still need to do a few more things, but that's just another place where you can listen to this great show. Until next time, my friends, I am, of course, your friend, Colt Sebastian Taylor, and I'll see you, as always, later.